HOA cut power to my home during a storm. Didn't know I owned the utility company. Update 2. The next morning, I woke up in a cold house, but I didn't mind. I left the power off, on purpose. Let it be a monument to her pettiness. If Karen wanted a power struggle, I'd give her one with the kind of subtle, elegant chaos she couldn't even see coming, until it swallowed her whole. I showered using water, heated the old-fashioned way, ate cereal in the dim light of the rising sun, and started making calls. Not to the HOA, not to neighbors, but to the internal departments of my utility company. I wanted everything done officially, and quietly. No trace, no blowback, at least not yet. By mid-morning, I had 2 compliance officers, auditing records from HOA Sector 19B. I marked the entire HOA neighborhood, as a watch zone, under the company's Quality Assurance Initiative. That meant, every electrical irregularity, outage, spike, or manual override from that zone would now be logged and reviewed. Even light bulb flickers wouldn't go unnoticed. Karen wouldn't see any of this yet, but soon she'd feel it. I started receiving alerts by noon. Their clubhouse had a hot tub wired in with unapproved equipment. Karen's cousin, who lived in Unit 8, had an illegal underground cable that ran directly into the HOA office for his side business. He ran crypto miners in his basement and was drawing enough power to light a small village. Most interestingly, several smart meters in the neighborhood had been bypassed and replaced with non-compliant models, all of them flagged under Karen's authorization. She wasn't just playing queen of the HOA, she was playing queen of the grid, and badly. By that afternoon, I received an invite to the HOA's monthly board meeting. It was scheduled in 2 days. Normally, I didn't go. I paid my dues like everyone else, and avoided the circus. But this time I accepted, not as myself, though. I sent my friend Nolan in my place, a man with a perfect poker face, and an encyclopedic memory of HOA bylaws. I'd stay behind the curtain, feeding him lines through a small earpiece, while I monitored the meeting, live from a drone positioned outside the clubhouse. Nolan dressed like your average tech-savvy retiree, cargo shorts, baseball cap, slightly offended expression by default. Karen wouldn't know what hit her. As the meeting began, I watched the residents gather on folding chairs under the flickering fluorescent lights of the community hall. Karen stood at the podium, gloating over new rules she planned to push through, including advanced control over individual power allowances during storms, which was just HOA code for "we'll cut who we want." As she spoke, Nolan raised his hand and asked as innocently as possible, "Do these new rules apply to everyone, or just the people Karen doesn't like?" Karen stiffened, gave him the look she usually reserved for teenagers, who rollerbladed near her driveway, and said, "The rules are applied equally across all units." Nolan nodded like he believed her. Then he pulled out a folder, and began reading from it, listing the exact energy draw of the clubhouse, the dates of unauthorized disconnections, and the HOA charter clause, stating that utility control must be handled by licensed professionals only. Karen's face turned pale. She tried to interrupt, but Nolan kept reading. "And one more thing," Nolan said cheerfully. "As of 8 a.m. this morning, your entire neighborhood has been reclassified by the provider as a conditional use community. That means your rate structure has changed. You'll receive your updated billing summary by Monday." Karen looked like someone had pulled the plug on her internal fan. She sputtered, "You can't do that. That's illegal." Nolan smiled. "It's not illegal when the company that powers your entire neighborhood changes your classification based on how often you tamper with infrastructure. That's called policy enforcement." I watched it all from my screen, grinning. She didn't know yet, but her little empire was already cracking. By the end of the meeting, several residents were grumbling. One asked if Karen had really authorized power shutoffs last night. Another complained that her freezer full of meat thawed. Someone yelled, "You can't just cut people's power because you don't like them." Karen snapped, and shouted back, "I was protecting the neighborhood." That's when Nolan dropped the real bomb. Protecting us from what? The only house without power was the one that owns the company feeding your light. The CEO lives here. You cut his power, and I promise you he's not going to let that go quietly. There was a silence so deep, you could hear the buzz of the fluorescent lights above. Karen's face went red. A few residents looked at each other, realizing what had just happened. A few even started clapping. Karen abruptly ended the meeting, and stormed out. Later that night, the first revised bill hit the HOA's inbox. Triple rates backdated for 2 months based on estimated unauthorized use. The system also auto-generated penalty assessments for tampered meters. The total came to just over $17,000. Karen sent a furious email to the utility company, demanding to speak to someone in charge. She got an automated reply, thanking her for her inquiry, and placing her request in the queue. I read her message while eating popcorn, but I wasn't done. The next day, I ordered a friendly neighborhood audit, scheduled with the city's infrastructure team. Just a routine inspection of utility integrity, in communities flagged for irregular usage. I didn't even need to be there. They did the rest. When the vans pulled up 2 mornings later, Yellow Jackets stepped out with clipboards and thermal scanners. Karen came running out of her house, in a pink bathrobe, shrieking that she hadn't received any notice. The inspector calmly replied that this was standard protocol, and they were only there to ensure public safety. Then they found the underground line from Karen's cousin's house. Then they found a bypass smart meter linked to Karen's garage. And finally, they found the old water heater from her pool system, hooked into a separate undocumented grid line. Karen shouted something about raccoons chewing wires. The inspector raised an eyebrow, and asked, "Do raccoons usually install surge protectors?" I watched the scene unfold from the live drone feed, sipping my coffee. Karen didn't know it yet, but she had just set off the first wave of the storm. She wanted control, she wanted authority, she wanted to be queen of the cul-de-sac. But she forgot something simple. Power doesn't come from rules, or votes, or HOA meetings. It comes from the current, the grid, the wires under the ground, the systems you never see but can never live without. And I control them all. Now you can watch the third part by pressing share, and more.